Hi, welcome to my room with a view. I'm going to talk about anxiety. You know, when your stomach starts to somersault, and your heart starts to race, and you get kind of shaky, and your hands get clammy, and your eyes start darting around, and you're looking for where the danger's coming from. There really isn't any danger. That's anxiety. I've pretty much been living with it for as long as I can remember, on a daily basis. I can't tell you what age it started, but I remember being afraid often. Anxiety and fear are best friends. They go hand in hand. They're always together for me. And sometimes I can tell you exactly where the anxiety and the fear is coming from. For example, when I'm driving and I get lost, completely and utterly lost, and I've been there more times than I care to tell you, I get afraid, and then I get anxious, and then I get terrified because I don't want to be lost. I want to know where I'm going, and I want to get where I'm supposed to go. Well, that makes sense. Then other times, I have anxiety for no reason at all, like I'm reading a book, or I'm watching a movie, or I'm listening to music, or I'm just in the mall walking around. And there come the feelings. My stomach starts flipping, my heart starts racing, I get shaky, and I start looking around. Where's the danger? There isn't any, and there's no reason for it. I don't understand why I have this anxiety, but I know I'm living with it. And then there are those people who look at me and go, "I'll just get over it, trust in God, have faith in God. You shouldn't have the spirit of anxiety." I do have faith. I believe in God. I believe that Christ has forgiven me for my sins. And I admit, I struggle with my faith sometimes. But my anxiety has absolutely nothing to do with a lack of faith. For example, let me just say this. Okay. When somebody does that in your face, what is your automatic response? You jerk, your eyes blink, you jerk your head back, maybe you catch your breath. Do you think you can control that based on your faith? No, because it's an automatic biological response. It's not based on your faith. Well, my anxiety is the same way. It's just a messed up biological response. And I don't understand why I have it, but I do. I can't control it. It's not based on my faith. I have prayed for God to take this away, but for some reason, He's chosen to allow me to have this. I don't understand everything about Him because I'm small and finite compared next to Him. He's infinite and amazing, and I can't understand His plans. I'm not even going to try. So I don't know why I have it. I just know I do. I have anxiety, and I have to deal with it. So let me tell you some of the ways that I have been learning to deal with it. Number one, the best way is prayer. I believe that direct communication with God is a great way to deal with my anxiety. I start praying, I can deal with it better. It helps me calm down. It helps break the negative patterns in my brain, where my brain is telling me stuff. You have to think this, you have to think this. When I'm praying and I'm talking to God, those patterns get broken. So it helps with my anxiety. And sometimes I call my husband. God blessed me with a man who's truly after God's own heart. He loves me and he's there for me and he puts up with me. Oh my gosh. I don't know how he stayed with me for almost 25 years because I would have been out the door. He has the most patient spirit I have ever met in anybody. But anyway, I call him and he talks me down and he helps me get through it and he gives me advice. And sometimes just the sound of his voice is enough to help me break the anxiety cycle. Sometimes I really can't call him or prayer is just not helping. So sometimes I have to rely on myself. And that's when I have to calm myself down and talk to myself. And sometimes I do it out loud and sometimes I do it inside of my head. But either way, I just have to talk to myself and say things like, yeah, those people that just cut you off, they're not trying to kill you. They're not out to get you. Everything's fine. You're not going to have a fire explosion and the airbag isn't going to pop out and break your face, that kind of things. But then I have to not get in my way because sometimes I'll get in my way and my brain will say, "Oh yeah, they're trying to kill you. That person riding your back bumper, they're mad at you and they've got a gun and they're going to shoot you." Yeah, stupid, I know. But that's how my brain works. And the anxiety just pops up and there you go. So I have to talk myself down. Sometimes I have to turn to music. God has given me this amazing love for music. and it fills me with joy most of the time. It helps me get through emotions that I wouldn't be able to deal with on my own, and it fills me with, I don't know how to explain this, it just fills me with a sense of peace that I can't get anywhere else. A lot of times, please, to my pastor, don't be offended if you see this, but sometimes the praise and worship part of our service is worth more to me than the actual sermon, because just that music and spending time with God it just brings out something with me that listening to a sermon can't do. Sorry, but it's true. Now, there are some ways that I deal with anxiety that are not good, and I'm trying to break these habits, and through God's grace, I will eventually get there. The first of my bad habits is food. Yes, I love to eat, but it's not just food. It's sugar. When my anxiety kicks in and I feel like I'm just in a panic and I can't calm down, I turn to the sugar. It's gotten bad enough sometimes that I've actually eaten myself sick. After my mom passed away in 2007, after my mom passed away in 2007, it was really a hard time for me. So I ended up eating almost half of a sheet cake on my own in a day. Yes, I know, disgusting, but true. It's how I dealt with my problems and my anxieties. And I still do sometimes, not eat a whole sheet cake. I haven't done that since then. But I do turn to sugar, and that's not a good thing. It's not a healthy way to deal with anxiety, and I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, telling you that you should deal with your anxiety by eating, because that is just as bad as having the anxiety in the first place. It hurts your body. So don't do that. But God and I are working on it, and I'm going to get to the point where I don't need the food and I don't need the sugar, and I'm going to be able to deal with the anxiety. I'm working on it. The other very bad way that I deal with anxiety is anger. Anger is the tag-along sibling to anxiety and fear for me. You know, when you're wanting just to go hang out with your friends and your mom says, oh, you have to take your little brother or your little sister. You can't go without them. That's anger for me. It just tags along, always causing trouble, no matter what I do. So as soon as I start feeling fear, it makes me mad. That person cuts me off in traffic or starts tailgating me, and I start yelling at them. I think a lot of people deal with anxiety, and that's where road rage comes from, but that's not the only reason. It's just an easier way of dealing with things for me than to live in the fear. The fear is hard. Fear makes me feel helpless. Anxiety makes me feel helpless and out of control. For some reason, the anger makes me feel like I'm in control. I can do this. I can handle this. Because you spout off, you say things, you get mad, and all of that expends the energy that's been building up inside of you with the anxiety. It works until you realize what you've said to people, or about people, or to people, and they get hurt. And that's not good. Anger is not the right answer to anxiety. So God and I are working on that too. I have a long way to go. He's still working on me, and I hope he doesn't give up on me, because I am far, far, far from perfect. But I want you to think about something. The next time that you see somebody dealing with anxiety, try to support them. Don't put them down. They're not weaker than you because they have anxiety. They're not less spiritual than you because they have anxiety. They're not dumber than you because they have anxiety. They just have anxiety. So support them. Be there for them. If they need it and they're okay with it, hug them. But ask first, because some people, touch makes their anxiety much, much, much worse. So always ask first. But always be there for them and support them and pray for them especially. If you've never had anxiety to the point where you can't control it and you don't know why you have it, you can't possibly understand what other people are going through. So don't judge them. And don't make them feel bad because they have anxiety. Pray for them and love them. I don't know why God laid this on my heart to share with people, but hopefully somebody will get something out of this. Thanks for coming to my room. Bye.